Welcome to my channel, Sunshine Shoulders. I'm Calvin. Thank y'all so much for stopping by again today. Truly grateful. I was forced out of America. I just could no longer afford to live here. And I want to talk a little bit about that today, a little bit more about it. Last year, I did a vlog on not saving enough for retirement. But little did I know how far off the mark I was. I really didn't deep dive into it like I did today. And it's really shocking what I found out. But the first thing I Googled was, what's the average American household? How much does the average American household have in a retirement account? Because I knew in my heart of hearts, I wasn't the only one. Excuse me. Over 50% of American households have zero saved in any type of retirement account. IRA, KEO, 401, 403, whatever it is. Zero. About 46% said that, yeah, we've got something. 26% of the 46% said they had over 100,000. Only 9% of the 46% said they had over 500,000. I mean, that's a lot of money for me where I came from. I earned a lot of money as an insurance agent. I ran hard. It's one of the reasons I retired at 55. I was burned out. I couldn't knock on another door, ladies and gentlemen. So I kept kicking the can down the road, procrastinating. Oh, I'll do more this year. I didn't hit the mark. I missed the mark by a long shot. When I looked up how much does the average American have in his or her retirement account, they did it by age. So 55 to 64, $537,000. That's the average. The median amount was $185,000. That's a fortune to me. Okay, it wasn't until I started my YouTube channel and started meeting people from all over the world that I even know people who had money like that. The people I hung around with, yeah, we had good jobs, nice houses, nice cars, but we didn't have that kind of money in the bank. So if you're 45 and over, which is most of my audience, this is a very, very important video. Don't be like me. Don't keep putting it off, because before you know it, Social Security is going to be calling your phone. It's going to be time to retire. So when I Googled how much is the average American have in his retirement account, there was a question down there. And I'm going to put these links in the description. Please read them. This is very important. One of the most important vlogs I've ever done. But a 62-year-old person asked the question, I'm 62 with $400,000. Can I retire? And the answer came back, yes, but it's going to be tight. I couldn't believe it. Tight with $400,000? Yeah, if you live in America. They got something called the 80% rule, meaning you're going to need 80% of your pre-retirement income to maintain the same lifestyle you were living before you retired. So in your retirement. I didn't meet that. Then they've got something called the $1,000 rule. For every $1,000 per month that you want in retirement, you're going to have to save $240,000. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm dumbfounded. I have nowhere near that. Okay? But what I do have is a great opportunity that the Philippines has given me to catch up. I'm going to put another link in. 57% of Americans feel that they're behind on what they should have saved already for their retirement. 35% say they're significantly behind. I'm part of that 35%. So no matter what people tell you, the Philippines is getting expensive, it's nowhere near as expensive as it is over here in America. And if you use that low cost of living to your advantage, you can catch up. Because I'm catching up. I'm catching up. You know, I've been able to build a house over there. Actually, 2 houses, about 2 lots. So I've got assets of about 50,000 US over there. Okay. When I get back, I'm looking at another piece of land to buy, and we're going to build a small house on there. And that's going to be the business. See, I have my SRV, R13A, whichever one I decide. But I did a video last year where I talked about the great opportunity that people have when they move to the Philippines to save money, to pay off your debts, to build up a nest egg, to invest. So, fortunate for me, I was able to have a successful YouTube channel that supplies me with a living wage. Now, for the life of me, I don't know why people ridicule you for that. Certainly people who don't have it and wish they had it, or because they certainly don't have the facts about life and living today and how expensive it is. For you to be able to have a side hustle like that, that's going to supplement your income, because if you take that away and you leave me with my Social Security and my renewal income from my insurance business, I'm at about $3,000 a month. That's nothing over here in America, as you probably know. See, one thing I said, and I swore I was not going to work. See, YouTube is not work for me. I was not working again. I was not going to jump on that hamster wheel. I retired from working. I didn't retire from life. So my retirement, I wanted to be active. I wanted to be adventurous. I still like to travel. I still like to go to the gym. And you know, organic foods and fresh foods cost more than this processed stuff. So I'm going to need the money to do that. I wouldn't have it here. I wouldn't have anywhere near the amount of money I need. So I was forced to leave here. But I didn't know that in 2018. I was just leaving because I needed to get away. I was burnt to a crisp. I wasn't in my right state of mind. People don't believe me. You know, men aren't supposed to suffer. Okay? We're not supposed to need help. You know, it's a sign of weakness. But no, I had to stop. I wasn't going to make it. So I was just wanting a break, really. In my mind, did I really think that I'd be able to stay forever? But just to give you an inkling of the state of mind I was in 2018, imagine I thought that $17,000 and $1,900 per month was going to be enough to see me through until I received my Social Security. The $1,900 is renewal income. That's based on whether the people renew their policies, but just natural attrition. People changing insurance, dying, no longer being eligible for the plan, that was going to drop. And it certainly dropped. It's half of that right now. I really was not in my right state of mind, ladies and gentlemen. But about 2 years in to my retirement, 2020 is when my YouTube channel started. But not only did my YouTube channel start, but I started healing. I started getting better. My thinking became more clear. It was then that I started thinking about, what am I going to do in my retirement? I better start doing something. I better start taking advantage of this low cost of living over here, because it was still the pandemic. I didn't receive my first money from YouTube until January of 2021. But I knew right then and there I couldn't be spending like I was used to spending. So I started saving. And then about 6 months later, I had enough money to start on our house. And it was the best decision, one of the best decisions I've ever made, other than, you know, getting clean and sober. And now, of course, you know, drawing Social Security at 62. But building that house, And go ahead and sacrificing that money on the front end was a great decision because I had wasted so much money in my life. It's one of the reasons I did it. I wanted to be able to see where my money was going because I had spent millions of pesos over there basically on nothing. Going to Boracay and everything like that. Still didn't have a clue on saving for retirement. So if you're able to move to a place like the Philippines or anywhere where it affords you a lower cost of living, it doesn't mean to just spend the extra money. You really have to take advantage of that. You know, and I know you're not going to listen, guys. Most of the people who watch my channel, they're over 45 years old. YouTube tells me that. They're 45 and over. And then the article I just read said, over half of you have zero saved for your retirement. 57% of y'all don't think you have enough. 35% are sure that you don't have enough. So you got to do something about it. The Philippines allowed me to catch up, and I'm catching up, man. You know, I had no idea how little I had saved for retirement and how much I was really going to need were I to live in America. But I just don't want the lifestyle that $3,000 per month affords me over here. The YMCA here in Louisville, Kentucky is $95 a month for the membership I would need. What about my health care? I'm 62, I don't have my Medicare yet. I wouldn't be paying the $600 a year that I pay over in the Philippines. Okay, y'all see where I'm going with this? So, people go to church. A lot of people go to church because it's free. Going to church is free. It doesn't cost a whole lot of money. That's why they go to church after they retire. 2, 3, 4 times a week. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to play bingo 2 times a week and just sit around on a rocking chair on my porch, get old, get sick, and die. That's not the life I want to live. I want to live my pre-retirement lifestyle in retirement. And the only way I was going to be able to do that was to leave America. Yeah, it's a big sacrifice. But at some point, you're going to come to that fork in the road. And you got to make that decision. I don't have enough money for retirement. I don't have enough money to live the lifestyle I want to live in America. What am I going to do? I left. I was forced to leave. I did not have a choice, ladies and gentlemen. Not an intelligent choice. So now, with my insurance, with my Social Security, my YouTube, and my renewal income, I'm considered rich over in the Philippines, and I'm going to take advantage of it. Over here, I'd be scraping by. I'd be barely making it. I'd probably, if I did want to continue to do some of the things I was doing before I retired, I'd probably have to be in one of those senior citizen high-rise places, you know, where they warehouse us. I'd be damned. You know, I've got more dignity to that, and I'm not putting down anybody who's forced to do that, because a lot of us are forced to live that way. We don't plan. We keep kicking the can down the road. Next thing you know, Social Security's knocking on your door, ringing your phone. Hey, your benefits is available. So thank y'all so much. This came across my mind. We talk about a lot of stuff. We don't talk about money enough. We don't talk about retirement enough. All you guys want to talk about is women. Well, hell, you need money with women. If you're going to have a woman, you're going to need money. No woman going to be with you broke. I was watching a video today as I'm talking about the transactional relationships. Hell, they're all transactional unless you're married. And then you still got to pay your way. But it's just something for you to think about. I start the conversation. I tip my hat to the people who made the right decisions, who invested their money, who saved, who did the right thing, see, who put off that instant gratification. Because That was me. I wanted the shiny car. I wanted the nice clothes. I wanted the big house and all of that. But I didn't want to save. Certainly didn't want to save for retirement. It was too far down the road. I couldn't see it. And now it's here. So thank y'all so much for stopping by again. If you're in America, if you're in the Philippines, wherever you are, find in your heart to help somebody. It's not a day goes by that I don't help somebody. Because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. When we help other people, we help ourselves. Take care. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. I'll see you next time. Don't do anything stupid. Stop kicking that can down the road. Stop right now and decide, what am I going to do? How much money am I going to need for my retirement? How do I get started? Start with what you have, where you are, and it's enough. As long as you keep procrastinating, pretty soon Social Security is going to be on the phone, guys. You don't want to be like me and the 50% of other Americans who not only have zero, but I would say 65% don't have enough. If you believe what the experts say. You don't want to be forced out of your country like I was. I was forced out. But now that I'm out, I'm going to make the best of it. I told my kids several years ago, and of course they laughed at me. I said, before I die, I'm going to give all of you $100,000. And I'm going to keep that promise. Because I don't want you fighting over the wheel and all that. I'm going to give it to you before I die. Of course, they laugh, but as things are starting to shape up, and you put that out there in the universe, and your subconscious mind starts bringing together the people and the circumstances to make it a reality, nobody's laughing anymore.